Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef, and in this episode of our continuing series on how to make delicious meals out of plant-based meats, we are going to make a chicken Parmesan to die for. Now, this chicken Parmesan requires a plant-based chicken patty that's a little bit thicker, one that has to be baked. That way you'll get that chicken parm crispiness with a nice cheese coating on it, and then we add the sauce, and I think you're really going to like this. And just to reiterate, we are doing this for two reasons. One is because it's absolutely delicious. The food producers are making amazing things out of plant-based proteins. So I've tried an awful lot of them, and they're really good. And the other reason is we want to save the planet. It's just the way we are. Plant-based protein requires a lot less fossil fuels and a lot less global warming gases as a result to create than animal-based proteins. I'm not telling people whether they should eliminate animal-based proteins from their diet. I'm not. I still eat some at dinner. But the less of a carbon load that we create for the planet, the better the planet will fare. So we all have to pitch in, and this is just one way to do it. That's my speech. So come on, let's cook. And here are the ingredients for our plant-based chicken Parmesan. The first thing I have is chicken fillets, and these ones are great. These are nice and thick, and they get nice and crispy. There are some other brands that are just as good, so I suggest that you experiment with them until you find the one that you like. So we have those. I'm going to use 3 of those chicken fillets. The next thing we're going to use is 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan, so 1/4 cup per patty. There's 3 patties in that package. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and what we're going to do with that is we're going to saute 1/4 cup of minced pepper, and you can use green, red, orange, yellow. It's up to you. They had the orange ones. I usually get red, but they had orange, and that's fine. 1/4 cup of minced sweet onion. You can use yellow, white, red. It's up to you. 2 garlic cloves crushed. Probably 2 teaspoons of Italian seasonings. These are the dried Italian seasonings. If you have fresh Italian seasonings, you can certainly chop those into it. I have a large can of tomato sauce, and then we're going to heat up some pasta to go on the side with it. Now, I just want to say one thing. I do know some people like their chicken Parmesan sauces very thin, and they would really pretty much just put this sauce on it, and that was plenty for them. I like something a little bit more hearty, but not chunky, and I'm going to show you how to put that together. So come on, let's cook. So what I suggest you do right now, before we get started in prepping the veggies, is take a look at the back of the package of the chicken patties that you're using and preheat the oven at the level that they recommend. And some of them will say that you can microwave the patties for 1 minute to defrost them, and then you just put them in the oven and you cook them. So there's different levels of cooking required with the different types of plant-based chicken patties. So you really need to read those instructions to find out what yours requires. So get that oven preheating while we prepare the sauce. And here's our pepper. I'm just going to take a slice of it, enough to equal 1/4 cup. And I'm going to thin slice this. I don't want really big chunks of pepper in this. I don't want a chunky sauce, but I do want it to be savory. And that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm mincing some pepper into it. Flat tomato sauce just doesn't do it for me. And some people like it that way. So you don't have to get complicated. Make it the way you like it. So I'm just making this really finely minced. And if you have seeds and core to remove, certainly remove those before you do this, and make sure to rinse off the pepper too. So you can see that's just finely minced pepper. And this onion, this onion looks well worn. Well, really because it is. It's been in prior episodes of the Step-by-Step Chef. This is food I actually eat, so I don't actually let any of the ingredients go to waste. And that's another thing that can actually help with climate change, is if we all stopped wasting food. So you have to time out your menu for the week and think of what do we really eat in a given week, and try to keep to it. Try not to have a lot of food waste. The more we can economize on food, the less fossil fuels will have to be burned, and the less globally warming or global warming gases will be released into the atmosphere. We're in this together. That little section was a little bit bruised, so I'm taking that out. So this onion was a star in some mushroom, sausage, egg omelets, and scrambles that I did yesterday. So please check out Step by Step Chef, and you'll find them there. And you're going to see this star right on the site. You're going to recognize this onion. Well, anyways, so what we do is we do nice thin cuts going this way because we want to mince. We don't want big chunks. In fact, I think this onion was also a star in pico de gallo. That's why the lines on the top are farther apart, because I had big chunks of onion in that, which we don't want in this. So I'm doing all of these lines facing the same way, and then I'm going perpendicular. I'm making little tiny squares on the top of the onion, and that's how we end up with our mince, without needing any kind of complicated machinery or spending an awful lot of time chopping on a cutting board. So you don't have to buy the Ronco onion mincer, Mince-O-Matic. So there we go. So I just cut that, and then just cut down the face, really thin strips, and you're going to see that the minced onion is appearing on your cutting board. I love onion. So there's our 1/4 cup of onion, and you can just put it right in with the minced pepper. We're going to saute this in a minute. That's kind of a preview of coming attractions, kind of exciting. So we do that. Now, for the garlic, I have a garlic crusher. If you don't, just mince the garlic as fine as you can. And I mean, you can use garlic powder, but I like fresh garlic better. So this is counting as 2 cloves of garlic, because I'm looking at this and it's dividing into 2. In fact, I might sneak in a little bit more, because people who have binge watched Cooking with a Step-by-Step Chef, my plant-based and not plant-based recipes, know that when I make garlic, I tend to go overboard. It's just what I do. It's what I eat in real life too. And you know, you have to live in your own little garlic bubble if you're going to do this, but it is yummy. Oh, you gotta eat a lot of gum. So there we go. I'm just taking the paper off the outside. You don't really have to do this if you're using a crusher, but if you're mincing, make sure you get all of this off. And then I have my crusher, my trusty crusher right here. Just load it up. And these are inexpensive and they do a great job. So if you don't have one, get one, especially if you're a garlic fan like I am. And it just squeezes right out of the bottom. And you just, oops, paper got on my knife. And you just do that to it. And then if there's some in here that you still think is salvageable, then grab it. The more garlic, the better, I think. So that's it. So I'm going to meet you over at the stove. Okay, so I have my saucepan. This is where we will make our tomato sauce for the chicken Parmesan. And what we're going to do is add our oil, olive oil, to the pan. This is preheated over just under medium heat. Then we're going to saute the veggies. And in this case, I don't want the veggies to be crispy. I really want them to work into the sauce and contribute flavor, but not a heck of a lot of texture. You want it to have the sauce to have a little bit of a smoothness to it. So I'm just mixing this in. The oven's a little slow today. But this will get sizzling, and it's going to take about probably 5 to 7 minutes until it's sauteed. I want the onions to be, and the peppers to be translucent. So we're just going to let this do its thing. So I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'll check in with you in 5 minutes. Okay, here we are 5 minutes later. My stove woke up. These onions and peppers are translucent. That's exactly where we want them. So let's just stir in a little bit of our Italian seasonings. Don't go overboard with this because they tend to be pretty powerful. We just want a hint of this taste. There we go. Because you can always add some, but you can't take it out once you've done it. So I always try to be judicious with these dried Italian seasonings. They will take over a sauce. So I'm just working it in, letting the dried Italian seasonings get a little bit moist from the onions and peppers. And now let's pour our sauce in. And again, I didn't do additional ingredients to the sauce to make it highly, powerful like I do with the other sauces on stepbystepchef.com. You got to check it out. I just wanted a little bit of a complexity to this compared to what's usually done to it. Sometimes the chicken Parmesan sauces, it just tastes like straight tomato sauce with nothing in it, and I don't really like that. Maybe you do. Cooking is all to taste. So I'm just stirring in those ingredients. And what we'll do is we're going to let this simmer while we prepare the chicken fillets. And you can taste it after it warms up and decide if you want to add more dried Italian seasonings to it. Totally up to you. Do it by your taste. Unfortunately, I'm not there with you, so I can't tell you what tastes good. Nor would I. So let's just cover that, let it simmer while we do the chicken fillets, which usually take about 25 minutes to prepare. Okay, so my oven is fully preheated. You absolutely want to do that. I read the back of the package, and what I'm supposed to do is put these plant-based chicken patties in the oven for about 25 minutes total. I'm supposed to flip them halfway through. So around the 12-minute mark, I will flip them. At that point, I'm going to put the Parmesan cheese on top so it has a nice melt going when the chicken Parmesan's ready to be served. And while these are cooking, I'm going to put the water for my pasta over like a medium heat just so it starts to slowly warm up, and then I can kick it up and have it boil the pasta, have everything come out at the same time. So let me show you how to do this. I'm putting these patties into the oven. Okay, so here are our delicious plant-based chicken patties. Now we know they have 12 more minutes of cooking coming, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to flip them. You can see it's browning nicely on that side. Again, this is according to the package that you bought. They're all a little bit different. And they make so many of these chicken patties that are absolutely delicious. So I'm not going to tell you which one to buy. I'm not endorsing any of them. I'm not saying I wouldn't. Ding. Okay, I waited for my phone to ring. It didn't. So here's what we're going to do. Here is our Parmesan cheese. So I don't have to flip these back again. So what this will do is melt the Parmesan cheese while it continues to cook in the oven. And you can use Parmesan cheese patties. You can whittle down your own Parmesan cheese. You can do it any way you want. You can add more. You can add less than I am. The main thing is think of chicken parm, because this is no different even though you're working with a plant-based patty. There we go. I think I'm in a cheesy mood. So this will go back in the oven for another 13 minutes to complete our 25 minutes. And you're going to see this will be all melted down. So I'll be right back. So the chicken parm has 12 more minutes to cook. Check the box of pasta that you're using. They're all different. Mine only takes 5 minutes. So you want to time it out. So if it has 12 minutes, when you get within 5 minutes of the chicken parm being done, make sure that your pasta is boiling so it will be delicious and hot when the chicken parm patties are ready. Meanwhile, back at the sauce, use this as a shield. The sauce is simmering. I have it on low, has a nice simmer going. All of those flavors are melding. Now, if your sauce is just sitting there not simmering, turn the heat up a little bit. And if you think it's scorching, if it's like boiling, then make sure to turn that down. But this is our sauce, and I can see that most of the onion and pepper has really broken down into the sauce just from this heat. So we're going to let that simmer, and that will simmer for the remaining time for the chicken parm patties to cook, which is 12 minutes. And away we go. Our chicken is done. Look at this. That probably looks as good, if not better, than any of the meat-based chicken parmesans you've had. I mean, this is absolutely yummy. And I defy you to taste the difference. And if you do taste a difference between this and the meat-based version, you need to find a better patty, because these are really good. So we put that in our plate. Then we add some of our spaghetti, all done, and well drained too. Make sure it's well drained. I can't stand chicken parm that's soggy. So this spaghetti is well drained. Just drop it in on the side. Oh, this is going to be yummy. And then our sauce. We've been stirring our sauce throughout this process to keep it from scorching. And we're just going to put some of that right on top of this. And you can use this recipe actually to make meat-based, animal-based chicken parmesan too. But this is yummy. And here comes our sauce. Again, see how it thinned out nicely? But I added flavor to it. A lot of the chicken parmesans that I've had have just been too neutral. Too much like just plain old tomato sauce. And this is flavorful. So put that nice, and add as much as you want. And let people do it at the table. You don't have to do it for them. And I like adding the sauce after because it keeps the chicken from getting soggy in the baking process. And then people can do it to their own taste. So that's it. This is still steaming. So congratulations, look at what you just made. You just made this delicious plant-based chicken parmesan with pasta. I mean, you're going to love this recipe. It's so easy to make. And again, the point of these recipes is we want to reduce the release of greenhouse gases. Fossil fuels are used extensively in the production of animal-based meat. So wherever we can, I'm not saying that you have to abandon meat altogether, but wherever we can, let's kind of reduce it a little bit. Let's make a contribution. This is one way to do it that's absolutely tasty. Now, if you like this recipe, please go to my website, stepbystepchef.com. There you will find over 225 recipes involving plant-based and regular animal-based meat, and some that's absolutely vegetarian. So you're going to find a wide range of dishes to make, and I think you're going to like that site. You're also going to find a printable version of this recipe and the other 225 plus recipes that you can make along. Now here's the special bonus, along with videos, free YouTube links. So I will be with you making every one of those dishes the step-by-step way. So I'm like salivating because I can't wait to eat this. So I am Larry Richardson. I am your step-by-step chef, and I'll see you in the next episode. At least I hope to.